Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everybody. In this video, I will explain material about direct and indirect speech. Direct and indirect speech by INDAH Purnamasari from English Department 2B Kuningan University. Number 1 is about introduction, number 2 is about punctuation, number 3 is about tense change, and number 4 is about statement, comment, and question. Okay, the first is about direct speech. Direct speech is a sentence when the speaker is written directly as it is. This sentence is written using quotation marks, so it can also be referred to as a quote. For this example, do you speak English? A little. Are you American? This is the example from direct speech. Okay, next is indirect speech. Indirect speech are sentences that report something that is said by other people and are also commonly called the reported speech. Direct speech can be converted into indirect speech by removing the quotation marks and replacing them with the conjunction that. For the example, I want to improve my English. What did she say? She said that she wants to improve her English. Okay, the second is about punctuation. In direct speech, we usually put a comma between the reporting clause and the reported clause. The words of the original speaker are enclosed in inverted commas, either single or double. If the reported clause comes first, we put the comma inside the inverted commas. For the example, I could not sleep last night, he said, or Rita said, I don't need you anymore. From question or exclamation, is there a reason for this? She asked, or I hate you, she shouted. For the colon, the officer replied, it is not possible to see the general, he's busy. Okay, next in indirect speech. In indirect speech, it is more common for the reporting clause to come first. When the reporting clause is first, we don't put a comma between the reporting clause and the reported clause. For the example, she told me they had left her without any money. No, she told me they had left her without any money. We don't use question marks or exclamation in indirect reports of question and exclamation. For the example, he asked me why I was so upset. Note, he asked me why I was so upset. Okay, this is the punctuation marks. Okay, next, the third is about tense change. In direct speech, to present tense, the first is present simple becomes past simple from indirect speech. Next, present progressive becomes past progressive. Present perfect becomes past perfect. Present perfect progressive becomes past perfect progressive. In the past tenses, past simple becomes past perfect, and past progressive becomes past perfect progressive, and past perfect becomes past perfect. In the future simple becomes future in the past, and the future perfect becomes future in the past perfect. Okay, this is change place and time. In direct speech, today becomes reported speech that day. Now becomes then or at the moment. Yesterday becomes the day before. Days ago become days before. Last week become the week before. Next year become the following year. Tomorrow becomes the next day or the following day. Her become there. This become that. This become those. Ago become previously or before. Tonight become that night. From model will become would, can become could, must or have to become must or had to, may or might become might, should or become should, ought to become ought to. This is example from direct speech and indirect speech to past tenses change. The past is simple present tense to indirect speech becomes simple past tense. For the example, I live in Yogyakarta becomes she said that she lives in Yogyakarta. Next, present continuous tense to indirect speech become past continuous tense. For the example, I am interviewing candidates becomes Putra said that he was interviewing candidates. From direct speech, simple past tense, present perfect tense, and past perfect tense becomes past perfect tense to indirect speech. For the example, for simple past tense, I wrote my sister a letter. To present perfect tense, I have written my sister a letter, and past perfect tense, I had written my sister a letter. To indirect speech becomes Putri said that she had written her sister a letter. Next, from direct speech, past continuous tense, present perfect continuous tense, and past perfect continuous tense become past perfect continuous tense to reported speech or indirect speech. For the example, past continuous tense, I was interviewing candidates. Present perfect continuous tense, I have been interviewing candidates. And past perfect continuous tense, I had been interviewing candidates becomes Putra said that he had been interviewing candidates. For the model, I will help him become Putri said that she would help him. I can help him become Putri said that she could help him. I might help him become Putri said that she might help him. I must or have to help him becomes Putri said that she had to help him. I would or could or might or should or ought to help her. Putra said that he would or could or might or should or ought to help her. Okay, next time phrase change from direct speech today or tonight to reported speech becomes that day or that night. For the example, they do it today becomes Putri said that they do it that day. This morning become that morning. For the example, they arrived this morning becomes Putra said that they had arrived that morning. Tomorrow becomes the next day. I won't come tomorrow becomes Putri said that she would not come the next day. Next is yesterday become the day before. For the example, I was in the garden yesterday become Putra said that he had been in the garden the day before. Last week becomes the week before. I went to Bali last week becomes Putri said that she had gone to Bali the week before. Next week becomes the following weeks. For the example, Putra, she's going to Bali next week. Becomes Putra said that she was going to Bali the following week. The next is about place change from direct speech her to indirect speech there. For the example, I put it her on the table. Becomes Putri said that she had put it there on the table. From direct speech this to indirect speech the or that. For the example, I don't know this place well. Becomes Putra said that he didn't know the or that place well. Okay, next, direct speech to indirect speech. The pronouns. Direct speech I, we, you. In the indirect speech becomes he or she, they, he, she, they. Indirect speech my, our, your. In the indirect speech his, her, their, his, her, they. Indirect speech me, use, you. In the indirect speech becomes him, her, them, him, her, them. In direct speech mine, ours, yours. In indirect speech becomes his, hers, theirs, his, hers, and theirs. Okay, next is about statement. In the indirect statement, we use the word that as a liaison between the introductory sentence and the words that are reported. For the example, Father said, I am going out of town tomorrow. Or Father said that he was going out of town the following day. Next is comment. Number 1, about positive comment. In a positive comment, we add to in front of the comment sentence is a liaison between the introductory sentence and the reported comment. From the example, Sam told me stop talking to Arhan, or Sam told me to stop talking to Arhan. Number 2 is negative comment. In the negative comment, we added not to in front of the reported comment. For the example, Jack asked Elkan, don't come to my house again, or Jack asked Elkan not to come to her house again. Next, about question. If direct question, use question words such as where, when, why, what, who, how. Then these words are used as a liaison in the reported speech. For the example, Witan asked Lily, why do you get angry with me? Or Witan asked Lily why she got angry with him. Okay, thank you very much. That's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.